Emma needs the lake house more than you do, my mother said, casually dropping these words during our weekly Sunday dinner. She's going through a rough time after her divorce, and we've already given her the keys. I set down my fork, the clatter against fine china echoing through our family dining room. My name is Alexandra, and at 34, I'd just discovered my parents had given away my lake house, my sanctuary, to my younger sister without even consulting me. You did what? I kept my voice steady, though my hands trembled beneath the table. Now, honey, my father chimed in, you're always working anyway. When was the last time you even visited the property? Emma needs a fresh start, and that house is perfect for her. Perfect for her. Of course it was. Everything had always been perfect for Emma. What they didn't know, what they hadn't bothered to ask, was that I'd spent the last 6 months quietly renovating that house. Every weekend, while they assumed I was always working, I'd been there, transforming it into something special. The house isn't yours to give away, I said quietly, watching their expressions shift from certainty to confusion. Don't be ridiculous, my mother scoffed. Your father and I bought that house when you girls were teenagers. It's family property. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through my photos. Actually, I bought it from you 3 years ago. Remember the paperwork you signed? The one you didn't bother reading because you were too busy planning Emma's second wedding. Their faces paled as I showed them the property deed with my name on it. The lake house had been my dream since childhood, and when my parents mentioned selling it, I'd stepped in. They'd been so distracted by Emma's elaborate wedding plans that they'd simply signed the papers, probably assuming they were just routine documents. But that's impossible, my father stuttered. We wouldn't have. You did, I interrupted, and I have the mortgage payments to prove it. Every month for the past 3 years. Emma chose that moment to burst through the front door, her perfect timing as impeccable as ever. Alex, I didn't know you'd be here. She breezed in, dropping shopping bags on the floor. Mom and Dad told you the good news. I'm moving into the lake house. I've already started packing. I turned to face my sister, noting the designer clothes and fresh manicure that somehow didn't align with someone going through a rough time. Actually, Emma, we need to talk about that. Talk about what? She flopped onto the sofa, pulling out her phone. I've already hired movers for next week. The interior needs a complete overhaul. By the way, that rustic look is so outdated. My mother shot me a warning look, the one that had always meant don't upset your sister. But this time, it didn't work. The renovations I just completed would disagree, I said, pulling up photos of the house on my phone. The reclaimed wood floors, the custom kitchen with its copper fixtures, the stone fireplace I'd have restored by local artisans. 6 months of work captured in pristine detail. Emma's head snapped up. What renovations? The ones I've been doing on my house. I emphasized the word my, watching comprehension slowly dawn on their faces. The property I legally own and have been renovating for the past 6 months. But Mom and Dad were wrong. I cut her off, standing up. They gave away something that wasn't theirs to give. And now they get to explain to you why you need to cancel those movers. My mother's face crumpled. Alexandra, please, your sister needs this. After everything with the divorce. The divorce she wanted, I corrected, because she was having an affair with her tennis instructor. The same instructor she's now living with in his luxury condo. That divorce. Emma's face flushed red. You don't know anything about my life. I know enough, I replied, gathering my things. I know that you've always gotten whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted it, but not this time. Not my house. As I walked toward the door, my father called out, Princess, wait. We can figure something out. Maybe you could let your sister stay there temporarily. I turned back one last time, looking at my family, my mother's manipulative tears, my father's desperate negotiating, and Emma's entitled anger. No, I said simply. For once, you all get to figure out your own solution. I have other plans for my property. What they didn't know was just how extensive those plans were. The renovations weren't just for personal use. They were part of something bigger, something that would make them regret ever trying to give away what was mine. I walked out to my car, listening to the chaos erupting behind me. Emma's shrill voice carried through the open windows, demanding they fix this. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to make things easier for them. I had worked too hard, invested too much, and this time, I was standing my ground. As I drove away, my phone started buzzing with messages. I ignored them all. They would soon discover that the lake house wasn't just a property. It was the cornerstone of my future, and I wasn't about to let anyone take that away from me. The next morning, my phone showed 47 missed calls and over 100 text messages. Emma had gone from demanding to pleading, while my mother alternated between guilt trips and thinly veiled threats. My father, predictably, tried to play mediator, suggesting compromises that all somehow ended with Emma getting her way. I ignored them all and drove to my lake house, smiling as I pulled up to the newly graveled driveway. The morning sun sparkled off the water, highlighting the dock I'd had restored last month. Inside, everything was exactly as I'd left it, pristine, peaceful, and completely mine. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from my mother's best friend, Linda. "Your mother is beside herself. How could you be so selfish? Emma needs a fresh start." I laughed, remembering how Linda had been equally beside herself during Emma's first divorce and her second wedding, and every minor crisis in between. The family drama machine was in full swing, but this time, I had an ace up my sleeve. Walking into my beautifully renovated kitchen, I opened my laptop and pulled up the email I'd been sitting on for weeks. The one from the state's Department of Tourism, confirming my property's certification as a luxury bed and breakfast. The renovation hadn't just been about making a beautiful home, it had been about creating a business. Each room had been carefully designed to accommodate guests, the boathouse converted into a waterfront suite, and the grounds landscaped for outdoor events. I'd spent 3 years planning, 6 months renovating, and now everything was ready. Just as I was reviewing the final permits, I heard the crunch of tires on gravel. Looking out the window, I saw Emma's red sports car speeding up the driveway, our parents' SUV right behind her. "Here we go." Emma burst through the door first, stopping short when she saw the changes. Gone was the dated lake house of our childhood, replaced by elegant modern furnishings that still maintained the property's rustic charm. What have you done?" she stammered. My parents followed her in, their expressions shifting from determination to shock as they took in the transformation. "Welcome to Silver Lake Lodge," I said calmly, gesturing to the new sign above the stone fireplace. "Grand opening next month." "A lodge?" My mother's voice was faint. "But Emma's furniture is staying wherever it currently is. I finished for her. This is a licensed bed and breakfast now. All the permits are approved, and we're already booked solid for the summer season." My father stepped forward, his negotiator face on. "Now, Princess, surely we can work something out. Emma could help run it, make it a family business. Like she helped run the boutique you bought her, or the yoga studio, or the wellness center." I counted off her failed ventures on my fingers. "No, thank you. This is my business, my investment, my future." Emma's face had turned an interesting shade of red. "You knew I needed a place to stay. You let me believe." "I didn't let you believe anything. I cut her off. You assumed, like you always do, that you could have whatever you wanted. Mom and Dad assumed, like they always do, that they could give away something that wasn't theirs. All of you assumed I would just go along with it, like always. But what am I supposed to do now?" Emma wailed, dropping onto one of my new sofas. "The same thing other adults do. Find your own place, pay your own way, live your own life." My mother stepped forward, tears already forming. "Alexandra, please, we're family. Family helps each other." "Yes," I agreed, family helps each other. Family also respects boundaries, asks permission, and doesn't try to give away property they don't own. Maybe it's time we all learned those lessons. I walked to the door and held it open. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a business to run. I suggest you all start helping Emma find an apartment she can actually afford. This isn't over," Emma snapped as she stormed past me. "Actually it is," I replied, watching them retreat to their cars. "And the next time you come by, you'll need a reservation." As their cars disappeared down the driveway, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. Years of being the responsible one, the understanding one, the one who always gave in for the sake of family peace, it was finally over. My phone buzzed again, but this time it was from my first guest booking, confirming their stay for the grand opening. I smiled, looking out over the lake that had captured my heart as a child. Emma had always gotten everything she wanted, but not this time. This time I had gotten exactly what I wanted. My dream, on my terms. The family grapevine would be buzzing with this latest drama. But for once I didn't care. I had built something beautiful, something successful, something entirely mine. and no amount of family manipulation could take that away from me. 3 months after the confrontation, Silver Lake Lodge was thriving. Every room was booked, the reviews were glowing, and my vision had become a stunning reality. The local tourism board had even featured us in their summer campaign, praising our perfect blend of luxury and lakeside charm. I hadn't spoken to my family since that day, though their attempts at contact hadn't stopped. Emma had switched from angry tirades to suspicious kindness, suddenly interested in reconnecting and learning about the hospitality business. My mother's tactics ranged from sharing childhood photos on social media with captions about missing her girls to having relatives call me about making peace. One quiet morning, as I was arranging fresh flowers in the lobby, Linda came strutting in. She took one look around the packed dining room, the happy guests on the deck, and the no vacancy sign, and her expression soured. "Your mother is heartbroken," she announced, as if conducting an official intervention. "And Emma? Well, she had to move into a tiny apartment in the city. Is that what you wanted?" I continued arranging my flowers. What I wanted was to build a successful business, which I have. Emma's housing choices are her own responsibility. But she's your sister. Yes, and this is my life. I stepped back to admire the arrangement. Was there something else you needed, Linda? We're fully booked, but I can add you to our waiting list. She left in a huff, no doubt racing to report back to my mother. But I had guests to attend to and a business to run. I'd stopped playing supporting character in the Emma show, and my life was better for it. Later that afternoon, I was surprised to see my father's car pulling up. He got out slowly, looking older somehow, and stood awkwardly by his vehicle until I walked out to meet him. "The place looks amazing, Princess," he said softly. "You've done an incredible job." "Thank you," I replied, waiting for the other shoe to drop. He sighed, running a hand through his gray hair. "I've been doing a lot of thinking about how we've handled things, how we've always handled things. We didn't just try to give away your house, did we? We've been giving away pieces of you your whole life." I felt my throat tighten but kept my expression neutral. "Every time Emma wanted something, every time she struggled, we expected you to be the solution. We took advantage of your strength, your stability." He looked out over the lake. "We never asked what you wanted, what you were dreaming of. We just assumed you'd always be there, fixing everything. And now," I asked, my voice barely steady, "now I'm here to say I'm sorry, really sorry." "Your mother? She's still struggling with all this. And Emma?" He shook his head. "Emma's Emma. But I'm proud of you, Alexandra. Proud of what you've built here. Proud of you for standing up for yourself, even if it was against us." I felt tears threatening but blinked them back. It wasn't easy. "I know." He turned to face me fully. "I'd like to make a reservation. Just me for a weekend. I want to experience what you've created properly as a guest. If you'll have me." I studied his face, seeing genuine regret there, and maybe something else, respect. "We're booked solid for the next 2 months," I said, watching his face fall slightly. "But I might have a cancellation coming up. I'll check the books." His smile was worth it. Over the next few months, things shifted slowly. My father came for his weekend stay, raved about the experience, and actually listened when I talked about my plans for the property. He even offered to help with some maintenance projects, no strings attached. Emma eventually found her footing in a marketing job, though she still made occasional comments about how she could have made the lodge even more successful. I let those slide off me like water off the dock. My mother took longer to come around. But one day, she showed up with a box of old photos she'd found. Pictures of me at the lake house as a child, always in the background while Emma posed in the foreground. "I never saw it before," she said quietly. "How we always push you aside." "I'm sorry, Alexandra. I really am." It wasn't a perfect resolution. Family rarely is. But as I stood on my dock that evening, watching the sunset paint the lake in shades of gold, I knew I'd done the right thing. The lake house hadn't just been about property or business. It had been about claiming my place in the world, about refusing to be the family safety net any longer. My phone buzzed with a new 5-star review. "Silver Lake Lodge isn't just a beautiful destination. It's a place where dreams come true." The owner's attention to detail and passion for hospitality shined through in every aspect. I smiled, thinking how right they were. Dreams do come true here, starting with mine.